Hello, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
That's
How are you
great.
doing?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank you for asking. First of all, let me thank you for coming on this show. I know you are not in the country, stuck in Nigeria due to COVID-19, and doing a fantastic job at your client's place, setting up the marketing team, working with them. And also, we are really honored to have such a senior person at our end who can actually, give us some more ideas in terms of, developing ourselves, looking forward to develop our career, who has seen everything. So let me welcome you again. And Sanjay, sir, if you could just give a short introduction about yourself to our audience, that would be helpful.
Thank you, Sachin. First of all, my personal thanks for getting me on your channel. Uh, about myself, I have just completed 40 years working in this pharmaceutical marketing domain all through.
Mhm.
Only in the last this assignment, I'm working for a hospital, which also basically, if you see in the larger picture, it is the healthcare segment in the two countries I'm working. So
That's right, sir.
I started with a basic science degree in Delhi University and
Mhm.
went on to do my master's in business administration and also did my degree in law. And apart from that, I also did a specialized course in training in the University of Cambridge. And in between, with the support of the organizations I work for, I've done a lot of small courses here and there. But basically, the experience of 40 years is my domain, is my main tool today. So I
Oh,
work for companies like GlaxoSmithKline and Imperial
wow.
Logistics in Africa. And 3 years ago, I started my own consulting firm called Umeed Consultants in Bangalore. And the
Mhm.
current assignment I am on is via this consulting arrangement. So I am supporting a hospital launch in Abuja in Nigeria.
Okay. So, as a consultant at present, what are you doing, sir? What are you doing? What are your present responsibilities?
Uh, See, I'm a marketing support for the foundation. First of all, let me a little bit about what this foundation is. This is a uh, foundation which is supported by donors, and
Mhm.
the group has agreed to support three projects in Nigeria. One is the Mission for Vision, in which they
Mhm.
do the cataract surgeries for the poor Nigerians,
Mhm.
and one is Mission for Water, in which they give good drinking water for the poor villagers, and then is one
Mhm.
Mission for Primary Care, where they established primary health centers for the help of the poor. So
Mhm.
all around it is
Mhm.
helping the poor Nigerians in this country. So in this context of Mission for Vision, they put up a new hospital in Abuja, which was on a different concept. The concept was that enough of donors, but can a good hospital work in such a manner that those who can pay come and get their eyes treated, and thus money is taken for the help of the for benefiting the poor. So when a
Mhm.
new concept is introduced in a country, like a new product, you need to
Mhm.
market the product, and that is the
Exactly.
crux of the work I do. So I went around promoting this hospital as a super specialty hospital in Abuja to drive
Mhm.
patients to the hospital. So by now, by the
Okay.
grace of God, the hospital has started doing very well in the last 1 year of my support. So my project is almost toward the end. I got stuck because of no flights from here. Otherwise, by now I would
Yes.
have been in Bangalore.
Oh, that's great, sir. So, how do you market a hospital? Now, that's an interesting question because we know hospitals themselves don't market themselves in the earlier period, but nowadays we are seeing a lot of activities from the hospitals itself in terms of promoting themselves. Now, how are you taking marketing in a place as far as Abuja?
Uh, it is challenging in Nigeria because the laws in this country do not allow you to put hoardings, advertisements like we could do in India. In India, you can
Mm-hmm.
give a one-page ad Apollo Hospital can give a one-page ad. You can see a
Mm-hmm.
lot of hoardings in the big cities talking about the hospital, etc., etc. In this country, it becomes even more challenging. Otherwise, perhaps the way I do my consulting, I could have given this advice from Bangalore. So here I had to come here and understand the laws and meet the people associated. Even one small insert in a medical journal has to be approved by a medical and dental council in this country. So it is a tough one in Nigeria. And
Mm-hmm.
one has to do a sort of, not exactly, but sort of what you normally see a door to door selling campaign in India. So it has to
Mm-hmm.
go, you have to go to a lot of doctors one on one, explain to them one-on-one like the medical reps do for products in the pharmaceutical domain in India. So you go and tell them one-on-one, explain to them, and then ask them to refer their patients to areas where they don't have the super specialty to this hospital. So it's a little lengthier process compared to other countries. Here you have to do a lot of legwork to bring this concept. The other one to promote is to get a lot of good insurance companies latched onto your to your hospital, so that they become your agents to support your hospital. So they have got a lot of people insured under their policies, so they can start recommending your hospital if their patient is having a problem. So these are some of the things I could mention.
That's great. So in a way, you are doing like an indirect marketing now. You cannot do digital.
Yes.
You cannot do
a
lot of things.
No, no way. It's not allowed. None of those easy ones in other countries are not allowed here. You can't go digital. The only thing which I came here and developed was a website, a proper good website, which has a lot of details. One can see this tcfihospital.org. It's a nice website now, and then do the small things of the part of the digital marketing is you can do an SEO, so that when somebody is looking for eye care or hospitals, your hospital comes on the first top 3 suggestions, and then people who start coming in, those kind of things are possible, but you can't give banners on Facebook, you can't give ads in the newspapers, you can't give magazines, advertisements. None of those things are possible here.
Okay, that's great, sir. It's really challenging for you, start a new thing in a new country, but then you are taking this challenge. Now, when you heard about this kind of a challenge, the rules that you have set in Nigeria, that you can't do this, that you can't do that. So what was going through your mind? What were the strategies that were running through your mind?
So one has to think on the feet, Sachin. Here, you cannot have any one of the textbook responses which you can apply here. So you have to move around, speak to the local healthcare professionals, ask questions, understand that, and then start applying. So there is nothing like a ready-made solution, and that's why even though I was not very much interested to come so far away, but I had to come because I could understand that this kind of a project cannot be handled from Bangalore, from India. I do a lot of consultancy from India, but we cannot do this from here.
Okay. Sir, if I may say that you come from the old school of marketing, when I say old school, pre-digital era, right? So what was the marketing those days about? What was marketing all about those days?
Well, the basic, let us understand, any marketing basically is how do you take your product to the people who want them, how do you get the people to buy your product, right? So, I started in another domain that is called pharmaceuticals, where again, in India especially, you can't advertise the products on television, you cannot again advertise. So the route to market is through taking the product knowledge to the healthcare professionals, the doctors, and give them those benefits the product is offering. And they can remember this, and then when a patient of that particular category comes, he should prescribe your brand. So brand development was a very, very important aspect, and a lot of work had to go from the product management team into what could be the strategy so that the doctor should be able to remember, because very few molecules even today are available which are exclusive. That means you are the only company having that molecule. In that way, then you have to go for the enlargement of the knowledge about the disease. Right? I remember what we did for the product Angirix B, which was the first hepatitis B vaccine in the world. So when you have the only hepatitis B vaccine, today there's hundreds of vaccines and hundreds of brands available. But there was a stage, and unfortunately was the person behind that campaign. So I remember very distinctly way back, 20, 25 years ago, that we did not have to promote the brand. We had to promote the disease, which is a unique concept of marketing. The more you promote the disease, the more you increase the disease awareness, your brand is the beneficiary. Now, that is a chance you get once in 50 years or once in 100 years. Today, we are talking of COVID. That disease awareness is huge. All somebody needs to do is bring a product. then you don't need to even tell the person which brand, etc. You just have to bring a product because the disease awareness has happened. So there are two types. One side, you have a huge awareness. For example, HIV, the huge awareness, no product. And you have a product but no awareness. So I, in the old time, had to create awareness that there is a disease which you don't know about. And once they knew about the disease, then came the brand. Automatically, it got promoted. Now, usually what happens, this is a good one, this is an easy one. But then there are 100 products in the same category, same molecule. And then you have to meet the doctor and request him in such a manner that he should remember that out of 100 brands available, your brand should get prescribed. Now that is the challenge which every company is having, and we had to really do something different. And in the communication was the skill that you leave one memorable point about the brand that the doctor could link with your brand and then probably go for your brand. So it was not easy, it was difficult.
And that could be called as brand recall value.
Brand recall value, and usually the other word which you use is the USP. What is the unique selling proposition you have with that brand, which will bring that recall when the doctor sees that patient. So he gives that prescription. Similar things we are trying to do in the modern era also, not too much, but the concept remains the same. You are again trying all you have to get the customer buy your brand, to get the customer go to that particular shop, whether you are doing a shop marketing or a brand marketing or a clothes or a electronics item, whatever. You need an air conditioner. Now, which air conditioner you go and choose? There are people who are doing the various kinds of campaigns to make that person understand that there is something unique in this product. This AC has got that unique feature. Maybe this kills the mosquitoes, does not allow the mosquitoes to come, does not allow the viruses to come, whatever. So you are trying to put that, and whether you put it as a banner on a Facebook, or you put it as an ad, or you put it as a bottom of a newspaper campaign or a magazine, you do various things. Ultimately leave a message to the customer so that he remembers it when he is going to buy the product.
Okay, that's great, sir. That's good to know. Now, how has marketing changed? I know we just spoke about modern ways of marketing, but how marketing must have taken a drastic shape over the period of 10-20 years, especially in the era of digital. Obviously, some old school habits don't die so easily, and then some old tricks always works, like channel marketing, promotions to the doctors, that would definitely help it out. But then definitely there are companies who are actually utilizing television as a medium to make awareness about their brands, radio or maybe print advertising, banner advertising, display advertising all on the highways, on the roads. That's what we call. Now, what was the basic changes that you see right now? What are the basic challenges as well that you can see right now in your industry?
See, two things you have asked. One is the change and the challenge, right? The change I see is that we have got a huge number of people who are now becoming marketing experts. And that has happened because we have moved from core marketing to digital marketing. We are using these platforms. So when you go digital, then you go to what we call as keywords. So there could be a person who is good in literature. He need not be good in science. He need not be whatever. But he is good in English, and he is good in trying to tell you as an expert what are the keywords you have to put in your blog such that that could drive business to the website, and in the website you go and promote the product. So that is the new thing which has come up, that words have become very, very important. Now, words were important even previously. So what we are playing with, what was the use of those words was, those words will be spoken by a human being or a person who is called the agent of the company, who goes and talks this, and that is a very catchy word or a catchy part of the slogan into the minds of another person who is the advisor or who is the person who is an influencer. So that word continues to be the same, but the way that word is used has become different. It's no more need be that a person goes, that word can come by your search mechanism. It is the same word. So it is placement of those words in your stories, in your blogs, in your messages, such that it attracts more attention, what we also call as these days the hashtags or whatever. And that drives traffic. Ultimately, it is to drive traffic to people to go and see. You may create a beautiful website. Now, how do people go to your website? You don't know how to take your people. So you take the people by way of these kind of words which he's looking for, and ultimately that will drive the business there. Or you yourself can start writing blogs in which you should select these words and put it. So what should I say? It is the same concept, or is old wine in a new bottle is what is happening.
That's right, sir. Now since you are into this industry, obviously we used to see a lot of medical representatives. We used to call them MRs, visiting doctors in the old days. Old days in the sense like, let's say, 5-6 years back. But nowadays also it still works. That still is into practice. MRs used to come with a bag full of medicine and educate doctors about what kind of medicine, what is this brand, and what is the use of all those things, right? Now, are you nowadays sending digital brochures about this to doctors? Are you connecting them through social media? Is there any portal for doctors where you send them all these details, promote new medicines, so probably they can take a call? Or is it still one-to-one, personal touch that is still given?
See, the medical reps job has not been taken away. The medical reps, the MRs, are still existing in the industry. Only what has changed? In my days, we used to have printed detailing tools, right? It would be a 25, 30, 40, 50 page of a material. You keep on rolling the pages, and so these were printed material, printed matter explaining the product to the doctor, and then we had something else, a leave behind. The similar thing in a concise manner in a pamphlet could be left on his table. And then there was something like what we call as the physician samples. You could line up his table with the physician samples, which was probably another way for him to get reminded. Now with the change in times, what has happened? The medical rep has remained. His detailing aid has turned from a printed thing to an iPad. All the pages have become digital, right? He just flips over the digital pages. There is nothing like a big bag. He can just carry it in a shoulder, a small little laptop bag. And because of so much of regulations, I cannot say the same thing for the Indian pharmaceutical companies, but the multinational companies have moved away from doing anything which the industry sees as you are luring the doctor into getting a prescription. So you cannot give him expensive gifts, you cannot give him too much of expensive medicines or whatever. And even the most simple things which people used to give is a pen and a pad also are being withdrawn. And we are at least the research-based companies, the international companies, the multinational companies are now forced to just live on their quality of the product and the quality of the innovation they are doing, and expecting the doctors to support the brand. Whereas in the Indian companies, though I'm hearing a lot that even the Prime Minister of the country is trying to bring regulations that, the medical pharmaceutical companies move away from doing anything which could probably be seen as an incentive to prescribe is being removed. So what are you left with? You are left with giving a medical journal to the doctor, maybe give medical books. So you support his continuous education on medicine. So what all can we do? We can give him a membership to a online medical journal retrieval system. Suppose he wants to read a scientific report. There are a lot of such areas where he can retrieve such a report, or the companies can retrieve such a report from their own paid such library and give it to him digitally. So a lot of paperwork is removed. Basically, what I'm seeing a change is the doctor's chamber was having a lot of paper piling up on his table. Now it's gone. So everything is in a digital form. It goes and sits on his email. He goes and sees them, and that's it. So this is a big change I'm seeing from the past to the now. The same rep does, the personal rapport is maintained, and the more the doctors are also now appreciating people who have coming with a lot of talent, who can explain to him scientific concepts. So they are also moving away. Very few doctors here and there, maybe, I don't know, could be still looking for something, but there are no companies now ready to give those kind of things because the regulations world over are changing.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Now, I also what I listen from you is like there's a lot of government regulations, or I would say government interference in the way pharmaceutical companies can market themselves. just as they have in the beverage industry as well, or alcohol industry to be very precise, spirits industry, right? Now, there are challenges, but obviously you have to find a solution, right? That's one way of looking at, looking at a problem that you have. There is a challenge and you need to find a solution. Now, do you also have some restrictions when it comes to digital media, that you cannot promote it on social media, you cannot write about it, you cannot give an advertisement on YouTube, or prepare a video about it? Is it something like that as well?
Healthcare, the products which are strictly prescription only medicine cannot be used on any platform, except for it is only doctors only platform. So if you are in a digital world has opened us to go into rooms or chat rooms which are exclusively for medical professionals. So if you have one such, probably you can do, but the other ones which you and I can probably access, prescription only medicines cannot be advertised under the Indian rules. Whereas if you go to the US, you can see the advertisements on the television. And when I was asking somebody a question as to why this is so, because if you look at the two countries, despite the fact that prescription only medicines can only be sold on prescriptions, I don't want to give you which place, but you can also check out, there are still a lot of prescriptions only medicines being sold, even if there is no physical prescription, except for the ones which are online pharmacies. So they will definitely need a prescription, and then only you will get the product. But in the US, you just cannot get any medicine without a doctor's prescription, and so much so that the doctor in the US does not even write a prescription. He only takes your social security number, and with that you are linked, you are identified. The doctor asks you which is the nearest pharmacy you would like to go to. He knows that place, and he clicks a button, and there goes his prescription, sits directly into the system of the pharmacy. Look at the change in the scenario. You don't carry anything. You just go, and then you just tell your own social security number in a pharmacy in the US, and he takes out. By the time you reach there, your medicine is already ready, and your social security number is your identification. He gives the medicine to you. So you cannot, you don't even know what is what, and then the pharmacist there writes this particular one, the blue tablets, to be taken one tablet twice daily, this one tablet thrice daily, this one once daily in the night. So that is given to you, and that is with which you come home. See that and this. So there, even if they put the ad of the brand and the television or the media, it does not do any damage, because there is no way that you could go and source it. So he is using that media to get the information of the brand to the doctor only. Even if you as a non-doctor sees it, it doesn't help you. It only brings awareness that such a drug exists. You cannot go and procure it yourself till the doctor prescribes it for you. You see, whereas in our thing, still if we can make it so watertight in India or in any other parts of the world where this is not being done, you can probably use it. But till that gap is filled up, I don't think that the agencies will allow you to go online and on the television.
Okay, that's good to know. Now, how are you using digital as a medium to promote your products, or other companies which are into pharmaceutical industry or healthcare industry? How are they? What are your observations? Basically, they are doing, to promote their products through digital platforms.
They are using, their presentations. They are using the digital. They are using, say, a laptop. It's carrying a lot of information. If the doctor has 10 minutes of time, there could be a video which he can play for the doctor in 10 minutes. Or sometimes they are putting all this information in a flash drive and giving it to the doctor instead of giving a book. So when he gets time, he puts it onto the system and looks at what he has to say. And as I said earlier, that he is digitalizing all the content on his iPad. So he just flicks, and it is easy to carry, and the doctor also doesn't have to wait long for him to turn pages, etc. So these are some of the things which are being done and which will continue to be done for some time. The other one, which even I do for my own consulting website, is that I write relevant matter myself onto my blog, which goes the same way that it goes and gets tagged. I've used Instagram. I put a lot of posts on Instagram, which again drag. Ultimately, it takes the person to the website. If you click that, it will take to my website. And if you go to the website, he knows more about me. So similar tools are being used by many companies that they give the information elsewhere, which drags them to this site and goes there. He gets a larger picture. So you give a small little trailer kind of a thing on one of the platforms, maybe could be a Facebook or a Instagram or whatever, and that could go there. Or if you can go do the pay by click method, in which you pay to the agency only when he clicks so many times. So you also know how many people you have been able to influence. Some of these tools are being used. I have also used, and there people are also using it.
Okay, that's good to know. And now, since now everything is going digital, what do you see are the changes that are going to happen in the way pharmaceutical companies going to market their product?
Well, it will be. I think for some more time it will be a digital platform being used to do online. Now with the current situation, another new window has opened. That specialist sitting in Bombay can speak to a specialist sitting in Chennai. Most of the pharmaceutical companies also hire doctors to be on their payrolls, who work for them as medical advisors. And earlier they were the ones who are going. So today he need not even travel. He can just do a chat or the way you and I are talking. So he talks to a consultant sitting somewhere else, or a doctor sitting in the US, need not even fly down. He uses the internet to speak to this consultant, or they can do a live show for a doctor, say in Pune or Mumbai, from a specialist sitting in New York. And earlier days we used to bring them, host them in a hotel, and then he would come, and on a platform there was 200 doctors sitting in a hotel. All these things are gone. We are giving them facility that lot of all the people are now giving you online talking platforms. Zoom started, and now Google is giving you, or Google was already there with Google Meet, etc. Then you have got Microsoft giving such platforms. So a lot of new talking platforms have come, in which the marketing. The marketing in pharma is basically giving technical information to another person. So you can do going and visiting him one-on-one, or bring the specialist to a city, make him do a show, or you can use the digital platforms now to get the programs hosted, so everybody links up and there's a presentation going on. Those who are interested, they can log in and see what the doctor has to say. Doctors throughout the world have to continuously learn about new things which are happening. Then only they learn about new diseases. Today this new disease has come, whole world is trying to learn about this disease. So this continues to happen. Even in existing disease, they have to continuously learn. In fact, there is a continuous learning program for all doctors. So the digital medium has made it easier for them to continue this learning without wasting time on travel.
That's good to know. But I think there are still restrictions in terms of publicly marketing it. You can do the marketing to the professionals, but you can't do it on a public platform, correct?
No, you cannot. You are restricted. Okay. You are not allowed.
So that definitely brings out a lot of innovations within your industry in terms of how to market it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And just for starters, for people who are going to be passing out this year in 2020, if they want to join in pharmaceutical as a marketer, how do you get into a pharmaceutical company as a marketer? How do companies pick you up, or they hire you? How does an individual can join a company?
Now there are a lot of courses coming for pharmaceutical industry alone. There are management MBAs for in pharmaceutical sciences, and a lot of pharmacists are being picked up by the pharmaceutical companies because they are better trained. Earlier on, probably they were not looking for pharmacists. Now they are looking for pharmacists. And if you have that extra thing in you, you have that good communication skills, etc., you can apply. But basically what I'm seeing is pharmacy graduates are filling up a lot of positions in pharmaceutical companies. And those who have done MBA in pharmaceutical sciences and the pharmaceutical industry, specific MBAs are now coming in, or even general MBAs, because marketing management is being taught in major business schools. So the top-notch companies are looking for MBAs out of the leading business schools, and that's where also now because the lower down, I think it will be tough to get into the MNCs, but probably bright shining graduates also can look for a career in pharma marketing. They may get
Okay,
as a
but
trainee and they will be trained onto
mhm.
marketing, or else you can go to an MBA school, get trained onto marketing, and then join.
Okay, that's great. So somebody with a B Farm degree in Bachelor of
Yes,
Pharmaceuticals.
yes, they will be preferred. That is a pharmacist. He's a
Okay,
pharmacist. The B Farm is a pharmacist. Yes.
and then they probably they can do some marketing course to understand the latest marketing tactics
Yes.
and then join this company. That's great,
Usually,
sir.
I don't know what is the current one because I'm a little outdated, but in nowadays, people used to come as trainees, right? Even if you
Mm-hmm.
are the B Farm, even if you are an MBA, you would be
Mm-hmm.
even put, like you see in hotel management. Even if you have done a
Mm-hmm.
hotel management, you will be first put into all the roles in the hotel. Then you will be
Mm-hmm.
probably given the GM position after 1 year. So
Mm-hmm.
similarly, in the pharma the starting process, you have to understand what a medical rep does. So even if you are a brilliant guy, maybe your your ladder climb will not be long. You'll
Mm-hmm.
probably do 2 to 3 months of each role and then get to a product manager and then move forward. So you must see what a medical rep does. You must see what an area manager does. You must see what all the roles are, their basic level. Then you can
Mm-hmm.
probably shift into the mainstream within 1 year's time. But you have to do as a
Okay.
trainee, yes.
Okay. So, now as a marketer, we do know, we are the first one probably after the financial analyst who does marketing to, to get a sense of market, right? Because we can see budgets going down, we can see sales going down, we can see, multiple things, business is not going forward because of so-called slowdown, right? Now, due to COVID-19, there has been a big slowdown that's happening all over the world, right? Now, when a new graduate that comes out from the college and people who must have lost their job in this industry, what is your message for them?
Those who have lost their jobs, right?
Yeah, lost the jobs or the new people who have just graduated from college.
So first of all, I think the job losses are more in the service industry. It has not happened in the pharma industry. In fact, the other way around, the pharma industry is on the uprise during this
Wow.
COVID because yes. So
Mm-hmm.
pharma companies, if you look at if you look at the share market, so most of the pharma companies are doing fairly well compared to other industries. Who have lost?
Mm-hmm.
The hotel industry has lost, aviation industry has lost, and then the big retail shops have lost out who are booming high because of the malls opening up, etc. So there is one sector which has lost. There is another sector which is growing. So I think it is very difficult for me to answer this question because at this moment, let me tell you, no, there is no expert who really knows, who has a crystal ball, who can see as to what can happen. I think at this moment, the only thing I can say, let's not panic, right?
Okay.
This is a difficult moment which has come 1 year, 2 year, and especially these days, the word sabbatical is very, very common. One takes a sabbatical by choice at times. So you just think a sabbatical has come your way, spend little time with the
Mm-hmm.
family which you have not seen for a long time, and everything will set in place. The whole demand curve is going to get back to same, and that the same people will be taken away. In fact, those people who have lost will be the same ones who will be called because their contact names with the employer is still there. So I think that is the way forward for you to have patience. Uh, don't panic. Don't get into something wrong at this stage, which may not be your cup of tea. It's much better to wait because this is a small, short phase in the big life. What is 2 years in a lifespan of 100 years? So nothing. So if you are having that much of patience, I think you will do well, rather than getting into something which can burn your fingers.
Okay, that's great to know, sir. And since you are into farm industry and been there for a long time, and now you're also marketing a hospital, I think you would be probably the right person from this industry to give an answer. Do you think any antidote for the virus, COVID-19 virus, coming soon, or is it going to take some time?
I think easily it will take 1 year for us to see the first vaccine. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because the way the vaccines are tested, tried before they are marketed, I do see, to be very fair with all the people who are working, to give them 1 year of time. Because even if the vaccine comes in next 6 months, see why I'm saying is that you have to understand that we have got 7 billion plus population in the world. So
Mm-hmm.
the way this kind of a virus has to be controlled is that it's like a polio drive. A large
Mm-hmm.
majority of people have to take that vaccine, so it has to be A, available in huge quantities, volumes, and B, available at a reasonable price for all people to take, and then the government has to support for those people who have no money to buy vaccines. So everybody when gets vaccinated, I see easily, but by the time the world becomes safe, it could be 1 to 2 years of time from now.
Okay, that's great to know, sir. And before closing this interview, I would like to, ask a few, just couple of questions. Like we missed out on the first part, is like people who are graduating from the college, right? If they want to join pharma industries as a marketer, what are the qualities that they should have, or what are the habits, or what are the qualities, or what are the degrees that they can, or what are the courses that can help them, settle them down in this industry? Because I can understand it's a very tough industry. It's very competitive. People talk about IT, but I think if you look at pharmaceutical and healthcare, it's very, very competitive. And most of the startups are based on healthcare nowadays, aligning obviously with pharmaceuticals as well. So if you could throw some light on that.
I think there's one skill which is definitely needed for a pharmaceutical marketer, is that he has to be having a very good communication skills. So the degree is not as important as much as his ability to speak is. Whether he's using an iPad or he was using a printed tool, he has to communicate with a doctor. And most of the companies put whatever be your qualification, they would like to like you to work as a medical rep for some time. You excel there and you get to the next position. So you cannot excel as a medical rep if you are not able to understand the concepts. So your basic degree in pharmacy or even sciences will help you understand the concept and then communicate. How you speak that out is important. So somebody who's weak in communication, I think the pharma industry will close the doors on them. So if you think you are a good communicator, I think you have a place in the pharma industry.
Talking about communications, if one really want to improve his or her communication, which courses they can do, or what are the other activities that they can do to improve their communication?
I go to the old school. Read newspapers, improve your language or read books, read newspapers, and speak aloud yourself. Okay. I don't think that any shortcut is there. You go to this school, that school. No. The question is how you read and how do you read aloud. The very old times, people used to say when we were in school that read aloud, read this poetry, read this paragraph. So when you do this, and in case you have a confusion today, fortunately, any word you can go to the net and ask them to pronounce and tell you what is the right pronunciation. So you can learn yourself. Why should we waste money in going to a school? Because this is the hard work which you will do. You read good English newspapers, you get updated as to what is happening in the world, and read that newspaper aloud. You will yourself, because you will be grammatically correct, because nobody will type wrong English in a good daily. So, and all good authors' books, and read aloud. And continuously talk. If you want to practice in English, talk in English. Because people are good in grammar, but I have found many people who are good in the theoretical knowledge of the grammar, but they don't speak well. So one has to get to spoken English. And spoken English is very, very important for us to communicate in the pharma world.
Okay, spoken English. That's great to know, sir. Yeah. So, sir, before we end this interview, let me thank you again for coming on our show and gracing with your presence. I know you are stuck in COVID-19 due to COVID-19 in Nigeria. We are really hopeful that you will be back in India soon and probably go and celebrate a holiday with your son in California. And might see some pictures. And thank you again for coming on this show. It's really nice speaking to you because we spoke on a industry-specific marketing, which probably would be identified by a lot of marketers as well. Because when you talk about marketing nowadays, it's all about advertising agencies, marketing agencies, or IT or retail. But we are forgetting there is an industry which keeps on growing every year, no matter what pandemic hits them or what industry jolts, because everyone has to get cured. So the companies definitely are going to do something about it, right? So let me thank you again, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sachin, and have a good evening. Bye.
So here we were with Mr. Sanjay Kumar Upadhyaya. He was joining us from Abuja, Nigeria. He stuck there. He went on for a marketing project. Now look at the passion of this man. He's 61 years old. He traveled to the other part of the world in Africa. He is marketing a hospital which does eye cataract surgery related to eye diseases, and he's taking a lead over there. A lot of restrictions in terms of marketing. It's a new knowledge that even I got to know that there are so many restrictions, and the restrictions are country specific, so probably you cannot do much over there. But then, they are going there, they're marketing it. That shows their passion. At the age of 61, when it's the retirement age, he has taken up a new project. It was really wonderful speaking to him. And if someone really wants to make a career out of pharmaceutical, do write it to us. We will publish his biography. Plus, we will also give a link to his LinkedIn portfolio as well. And he's definitely open to mentoring. Thank you. Thank you for watching that talk.